Hello all, hope you're enjoying season 44. We're finally 1 week over into the season, and I was lucky enough to get to rank 23. So let's go ahead and pick up this chest. Now I have deviated from the main sort of path which most of the folks were taking, because with my key calculations I wouldn't have been in a good position for this week. So I went with a different approach altogether. I picked up rifles and maxed them out. I picked up the gunboat energy, maxed it out. I also picked up the second troop health and maxed it out. And my RLs are still at tick 3 and they'll probably remain that for some amount of time. 4 ER, I went to 5 ER and straight away went to kavan to tick 4. And then instead of even moving forward, I went and picked up critters to help out on my heads. After that only, I went to scorchers, and now with the rank chest, I can finally unlock the shock launchers. So I'll take them to tick 4, that should be good enough, because I want to have sufficient tokens for troop damage in the coming time chest also in another hour and 25 minutes or so. In terms of the lock, it's not looking too bad, but it did take me some time to get used to my heads yesterday. But hopefully that's paid off. And the whole thing for me was just to get to sufficient diamond rank before the top guys are starting to do their legendary push today, which it will open up. And hopefully I can now collect enough chests in diamond until even I go to 6 ER. The 6 ER layout is quite big and it does take a lot more time, especially since I did not yet have the troop damage, as you can see. And without troop damage, the 6 ER is way slower compared to a 5 ER. In terms of my heads, I've been using all sorts of combinations. I've been lucky enough to get a few 4 ERs also. And this one, I'm using 2 boats of heavies, 2 boats of bombers, 3 boats of lasers, and a boat of scorcher, because I did max out the scorcher, so why not? And with the offensive tech which I have now, 4 ERs are just way too simple and easy. I'm going to just use command second wind to keep my troops moving, get the 3 Rs with the troops, and this remaining ER with critters and shocks, because that's where I decided to pick up critters, not only for like 4 ER, but even for 5 ERs, because I think they could be quite useful for me. Okay, this one is a 5 ER cluster, and there's quite a few common sort of layouts similar to this. I'm using a similar loadout as the 4 ER because generally they do end up working. The only thing with Scorcher sometimes is that it takes GB to deploy and command can get quite close to it, etc. So generally I try not to use a Scorcher, but in some bases I do end up taking one. I'm just trying to keep my troops alive while a single boat of bomber is clearing up from the other side. The intent is just to take down the RLs, the flanking RLs, because they cause issues. And after a bit of defense clearing, reflaring, the lasers can damage the back ER as well. Plus I do have a boat of bombers still behind. They can take down the ER really quickly. So that's the reason for me mixing up the lasers with the bombers. This one is similar, and I do a similar sort of a style. I drop the boat of bombers so that they can try to take out the shock launcher over there. And I delay, instead of the scorcher, I delay a boat of heavies instead. And I feel that heavies is probably a better play with kavan rather than scorchers, just because of the damage from Scorchers and Scorchers just running up too far ahead. Plus, I'm not really doing Scorcher RC hits, so Scorchers are probably a wasted sort of token for me, but maybe like after getting TD, maybe I can try Scorcher RC hits as well, so hopefully that will come to good use later on. And in these clusters, it's kind of just about managing your troops. Generally, it's quite easy to full clear them with kavan and with critters and with max rifles, which I have. Next one, I did not really manage the hit very well. The opponent, Timur, he didn't also get a really good time. So that was on me. I should have probably won that. And then it starts to go into the 6 ER territory. I was lucky enough to win this one by 3 seconds. Generally, I end up losing on 6 ERs. And in this one, I did end up using Scorchers to try them out and get them further ahead from the bombers. Now, since this base is more spread out, I think bombers works better than lasers, but to be honest, I haven't really fully tried with lasers yet. But maybe like Scorchers and lasers could be a thing to try out as well. I ended up delaying both of bombers and kavan on the right side so that it could take out this particular top right ER. And then just managing the hit again with the use of shock bombs, kavan trying to run anywhere and everywhere to heal up troops, which kind of is okay, I think. And in this case, I was able to spawn off a few mortar bombers as well, which is always nice. And then I end up doing a quick Hail Mary flare for the final 2 ERs, because otherwise the full clear would have just taken way slower. And that's where I think this deck is quite good in terms of its depth, that it does slow down the opponents usually. I'm pretty sure people have cracked it, but I haven't played that many 6 ERs, and definitely not with TD, which I think will be crucial for 6 ER hits. And then I was a bit lucky that I kept on getting these compact 5s. I definitely prefer to hit them compared to the more spread 5s, as these ones generally take a consistent amount of time for me. Sometimes I do get bad hits on these also, because the flanking RL doesn't go down quickly, or some of the RLs on shock launcher, they just kill off a bunch of laser rangers behind my troops, so the overall hit can be slowed down. But generally speaking, these ones I do prefer compared to the spreads, just because I can get good times with the tech which I have on these compared to my opponents. Okay. Next one was another, oh no, this was also 5 ER. I thought with my slow time maybe it was a 6, but this is where it went wrong. And I think like the only difference was the shock blaster. I don't think like that really that was like the key deciding factor. I think it was just how my lasers went out, how much damage they got from this rocket launcher, because it did kill off a bunch of the lasers, which just slowed down, and you can see my laser count is really quite small. But overall, like with the help of kavan, with the help of the 2 boats of bombers, you can kind of get it down quite quickly. I even tried a few hits which I just went with bombers instead of laser rangers too on this sort of a layout. And it was okay, because I was able to shock the critter launchers. And as we know, critter launchers are the only thing which really slows down the bombers, not the other defenses. So if you don't have laser rangers, you can probably still do this hit with bombers as well. But obviously, if you don't have kavan, it will be a bit tough. Now, this is a spread 5 ER, and in this one I'm using a mix of troops, because why not? So I use a boat of Scorchers and 2 boat of bombers from the bottom ramp, and then another Scorcher to go to this particular ER near the boom cannon, and then using kavan and some delayed bombers to start to go towards the top right side as well. And it kind of works in a funnel sort of an action. I use the critters so that they can take down the CR quicker while the Scorcher is distracting the boom cannon and the flamethrower. And once the ER starts to go down, then you can see that you can just let the troops free clear a bit. I mean, I could have gotten faster with Hail Mary, but I think it was okay. I was doing a decent enough time, so I didn't try to push it too much and then realize I've fizzled due to some poor management on my side. Next one, another sort of a compact, slightly different because it does have an ER up in this corner, a bit more mines on this corner, but with the help of critters, mines are thankfully no longer an issue. So I think they were a good investment from me. I know that I'm way behind in terms of the actual tech which the top of the leaderboard is using. But as you guys know, for me, it's always about making my hits consistent and ensure that I can clear the bases well enough, even if I don't really have the latest tech. I think that's okay because I am a bit of a slow person in terms of the top of the leaderboard, but generally try to make up for it with the other offense tech which I have picked up along the way. So it's okay if you're a bit behind in tech, as long as you're able to get the bases down consistently and in a decent amount of time. I think that's fine. And this was my boss fight for 23. Lucky enough to again get a compact because I do like these compacts. Did a similar sort of thing. This one, my bombers decided to go a little bit weirdly, but that was due to the lower amount of defenses over there. But still, the board of bombers which I had dropped from the bottom ramp, they were clearing the defenses up top. And I use a board of critters to distract the boom cannon, as well as get some extra firepower to take down the machine gun, as well as the ER as well. And then I'm just managing the hit, getting the second last ER down, and then I can finally flare the final ER. Now, in terms of like where the leaderboard really is, they are pretty much at 6 ERs. So let's look at Stone. I think he should be getting ready for his legendary push, and as you can see, this layout does look much bigger. But the key difference is definitely the health on the engine rooms, because you do get an extra 10k health on each and every engine room, plus obviously the benefit from the building health, as well as an extra ER plus a bigger deck. So combined with these factors, it does slow down the overall opponent hits. But in terms of tech tree, the top of the leaderboard, no surprises, is at heavy choppers. I did have one player who did a heavy chopper, rocket chopper hit on me. And luckily I won that because the rocket choppers were distracted with my defenses and they died off quite easily. But if you look at the overall tech tree, like 24, 110, 36, 38, and this one is probably another 30 odd keys. They're like way ahead of me on tech in terms of where it would be coming down to the crucial point of building health. And that's why I decided to go and backfill instead, because I wasn't in a position to compete with the top leaderboard. I think if I hadn't picked up all the tech, I would maximum be close to saving for 6ER, not even being able to save fully for 6ER, because it would have been very difficult for me to collect in diamond. And that's one of the things which you guys need to bear in mind when basing your tech decisions and what to do. And if you're like really struggling and you can't be consistent on your hits, I think in my opinion, it's better to pick up tech which will make you consistent enough. And then just waiting for the right time to push, because yesterday when I started pushing, I was at like low 21. So I gained nearly 200 odd stars since yesterday, once I got kavan, once I got critters, etc. And then it's just been slowly trying to play decent amount of matches, get consistent hits, get consistent timings, and try to be competitive. I did match quite a few of the top opponents. And the Chinese player, he's the one who tried it CRC. I was able to win that. Guys, he got a fantastic time on me, so no chance. I think I lost to this Chinese player as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, not in the log, but definitely remember a smaller number of characters. KKK, I think I won one and then I lost one, so we kind of seem to be even. I was able to pick up Dry the Sea as the opponent, so that was good. And then this Chinese player, I don't think I have matched, at least I haven't seen. So it's all over the place on the leaderboard, but I know that most of these top folks, they should be looking forward to their legendary push. Now, I wasn't really in a position to do a legendary push because I'm still A2 rank still away, but I'm hoping I don't fall off too far behind while the guys are getting further and further ahead. And hopefully I can catch up to them somewhere where they are saving for 7 ER, because at the moment I'm just going to start pushing ahead. I don't think I'll go for artillery just yet. Probably my best play is to get TD, start saving up for 6 ERs, and then head my way over to lovely heavy choppers and building health. I think building health is the key compared to heavy choppers, because with kavan I don't think I necessarily need heavy choppers but maybe they will help make my hits a bit faster. Let's see. I'm also worried that we'll start to see heavy chopper rush starting to come in through now, so I might even detour for shock mines before proceeding further on the 6 ER deck. But that's something for later on to decide. Hope you guys found this useful. It's been a tough season, I think, for a lot of us because it did become quite grindy. We were caught up not necessarily being able to clear down the deck layouts really well. This is an off path. Maybe it will help a few of you, and you can see how effectively I've been using the deck which I decided to pick up rather than just push ahead. That, folks, all the best. Looking forward to week 2 of the season now. Have a great day.